Today, we're going to be talking about or giving you an overview of the fresh new look at assessments and sort of uh, oop, talking about the different new features that are available, how it works, so that you're ready to just dive in and use it the way that you used assessments before, but with all these fun new features that will help you, better serve your students. So attendees will learn about and practice exciting new features in the fresh new look at assessments. We have several new features. I'm not going to go through all of them right this moment, but we'll go through all of these new features and how they work. And then we'll take some questions at the end before we wrap up as well. And so just to sort of start us off with introductions, I'm Brian Story. I'm the Director of Teacher Engagement here at Assessments. Prior to this work, I was a public school teacher for 10 years in Washington, D.C. and Virginia. So happy to be with you here today. And with that, I'll turn it over briefly to Susan.
Hi, I'm Sue Sullivan. I teach math at Perkins School for the Blind, and I teach students that are ages 14 through 22, kind of all different levels of mathematics. And I do it sometimes in Braille and sometimes in large print, so that's kind of fun. And I just have really loved assessments because I found that it has been a way that saves time in teacher prep and gives me more time to spend on lesson planning and making my lessons engaging. So glad to be here today.
Excellent. Thank you, Sue. All right, so we're going to go in and as I overview each new feature or view, I'm going to go live and kind of give you a little demo and show you what that looks like live, just to make sure everybody understands what's going on. Again, in the meantime, if you have any questions, you can pop those in the chat. Sue's going to bring those questions up so that we can address the group and make sure everybody gets their questions answered today. So the first thing is find and assign. Find and assign. So now in assessments, when you go in, you'll see that there's this find problems tab on the left-hand side, and that's usually where you're going to start. And so on this tab, you still have the ability to sort of browse our content library, but you can also search by standard or keyword. So I'm just going to demonstrate what this looks like live and get my little Zoom window here out of the way. So I'm just going to log into one of my accounts here. And let's say I just want to find some problems that go with standard 7EE-B4B on inequalities. And so when I search for that standard, it's going to come up with every problem in our database that is tagged with that standard. You can filter these according to the curriculum they come from, or you can choose the problems that you like just by selecting the boxes here in the top right corner and choosing some problems. And then you'll also see at the top here, skill builders. If there are any skill builders aligned to that standard, you'll see those here. Notice that you can only choose to select and assign it. You cannot choose problems from these because skill builders are large sets where students get problems randomly and it's mastery based. So they have to get 3 right in a row before they move on. So that's a particular type of assignment. So, but you can assign that. If we're looking at these problems here, let's just say I want to pick a few of them and make a problem set. So I'm just going to select a few of these for now, just for the purpose of the demo, and we'll come back to this. So saving to my problem sets. Once you've selected some problems from any source, you can assign them, or you can save them to a problem set, and it'll appear in this My Problem Sets tab inside your assessments account. So going back to assessments here, let's say I don't want to assign these. So once I've selected those problems, instead of clicking Assign to Class, I can click this arrow next to that and click Save to My Problem Sets. And so let's just say I'm going to call this 902 Demo Assignment. And I click Create that, Create and Save to Problem Set. And now I can access that problem set in My Problems, in this My Problems tab here. And let's say I sort by ascending here. So you can see our 902 demo assignment. I can click it and access those 3 problems that I just saved in the problem set. Oop, did I skip a slide? So now we have creating custom problem sets. Obviously, being able to pick a selection of problems and create a problem set is kind of customization, but we've added another layer of customization to that, which is that whenever you're searching for problems, if you want to add those problems from any source to any problem set you saved, you can now do that. And so obviously I created that problem set just now, but let's say I want to add some problems from a different source. And so just for the sake of argument here, I'm just going to go into a problem set from Eureka. And let's say I don't want to add all these problems, so I'll uncheck the select all box. I just want to add this one problem to that set that I just created. So once I've selected the problem I want to add, I can click that down arrow again, click Save to My Problem Sets again, search for the problem set that I created, and then save it to the problem set. So again, you now have the ability to create custom problem sets with problems from any source within our platform. And so when I go in there now, you can see I have those original 3 problems. And now I also have that 4th problem from Engage New York that I added in. And from here, I can choose to select them all and assign. I can come back to this anytime I like by going to My Problems and assigning from there, adding new problems, whatever you want to do. You have lots of options there. Any questions coming in the chat right now, Sue? Just wanted to take a moment.
Nope, we're good. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So then we have assign time options. And so we have a few more options that are available. Some of the stuff at assign time will look similar. Other things are going to be new. So I want to go through some of those elements that are new when you go to assign. The first big thing you'll notice is that you can now assign in a problem order, and that's linear order, random order, or student choice. Linear order is essentially, and let me go back here. Linear order is essentially just students get the problems in the order that they appear in the problem set. Random order is where students each get a random ordering of the problems you've assigned. And then student choice looks like this, where students can see all the problems at once. And whichever problem they want to start with, they can click Start Problem and go into that problem and finish it. Just a quick note there. As with all of our problems, once a student enters the problem, they have to finish it in order to move on and pick another problem. The next feature I want to mention, because you'll notice if you click Assign to Class, you'll see I have this test mode toggle here. That's a setting that you can now turn on. So you have the ability to assign in test mode, and I'll explain what test mode is in just a moment. But if you want to use test mode, you can click your name in the top right-hand corner, click Settings, and then under Feature Settings, you have this ability to enable test mode at assign time, and then click Save. And once you've done that, and you're going back to that assign screen, and just go back to our demo assignment, and you click Assign, you'll see that test mode option pop up. So turning it on, you can do that just by clicking it, but what does it mean? So like I said, test mode, you go to Settings and you can click Enable Test Mode and click Save. It'll tell you what test mode is if you click the little eye symbol next to it. And you'll see that toggle that appears, and you can click it and turn it on to blue if you want that to be active. So what is test mode? You know that when students are typically doing problems and assessments, they're getting that assignment through Canvas, Google Classroom, they're getting immediate feedback, the option to show answer if they have to move on, multiple attempts, et cetera, et cetera. With test mode, students still get the ability to do the assignment in Google or Canvas. They still have access to a student report. The teacher still has an assignment report, but students don't get feedback on their answers. And they don't get the show answer button, and they get one attempt before they move on. Okay, so those are the key things. And because students only get one attempt, obviously that's going to affect the level of detail that you see in your assignment report. You'll typically see basically just correct or incorrect. right? So this is only for summative assessments. We don't recommend using test mode when you're assigning formative assessments or class practice or homework, because that should be about kids getting practice without being penalized, right? But in the event you want to use assessments to deliver an assessment, you can use that test mode feature so that students don't get feedback and it's one and done. Totally up to you if you'd like to use that. And so
Oh,
then
Brian,
you got,
can I
yep,
interrupt with a question?
sure.
It says if we do, oh, hold on, if we do student choice, do the answers appear in the same order for everyone on the report, or in the order that the individual student completed them?
That's a
I'm
great
not,
question. No, I was just going to say that's a great question. All of the data will appear as normal in your report. So we actually take the data and reorder it for you so that it would appear as if you assigned the problem set in linear order. That does not affect the way that you see the data.
thank you. I thought so. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Any other questions coming in?
Nope, that's it.
All righty. So moving right along. Then we've got viewing my assignments. So now you don't just have to go to Google or Canvas to see your assignments or access your data. You can do all of that within Assessments by clicking this My Assignments tab, okay? And so I'm going to go live and show you what that looks like. We go to the My Assignments tab. And we're working on getting this to load faster, but it takes a few seconds, so just bear with me. All right. And so you'll see all of your assignments here that you've assigned. You can sort them by which class you assign to if you only want to see assignments for one class. You can sort them by their status, if they're upcoming, already released, or past due. And then you can also sort them by due date or release date in ascending or descending order, right? So with any assignment, when you hover over it, you have the ability to click this pencil and paper symbol to view the report. And then you have the triple dot where you can edit the assignment that allows you to change the assignment name, sometimes a due date as well. And you also have the ability to reassign it, so create a copy and then assign it to some new classes, or to preview the assignment as a student. But you can also click the assignment, and when you click it, you get a drop down. From here, you can also access the report data. You'll see your number of problems, when it was released and when it's due, if you assigned a due date, and any standards that are tagged in the problems that you assigned. So all of your assignments live in here now. You can still check your report data from Google Classroom or Canvas, but you do have the ability now within your Assessments account to see the assignments and access the data. And so then, speaking of data, we've totally revamped our assignment report. And so I want to spend some time just going through the different components and how you can use it so that everybody's ready to get the most out of their Assessments data. You'll still access your assignment report the same way as you always did, either by clicking that embedded link within Google or Canvas, or by going to My Assignments in your Assessments account. And then again, you can click View Report after clicking on the assignment, or you can hover over the assignment and click that pencil and paper, and that'll also take you to the report data. Now, once you're in the report, you'll see some specific things. And so I'm actually going to go live into a report and show you what this looks like and kind of go through some of the components. The first thing you'll see here at the top is that there's a problems view and a standards view. We'll come back to the difference between those two in just a minute, and we'll just start with the problems view. So this view is going to show you how students did on the problems that you assigned. It starts with these student progress cards. And so these will show you where students are in the process. If they haven't started, you can click that and see the students who have not started. For in progress, you can click that and see when was the last time each student that's in progress worked on the assignment. And then you can see completed, so the list of students that finished the assignment and the date and time when they did so. Underneath that, you have the performance summary. So this is a breakdown for each individual problem, how many students got it correct on the first attempt, correct after multiple attempts, or they had to click show answer in order to move on. We call that incorrect. You also have the ability to filter this if you want to look at only the number of students who got correct responses or incorrect responses. You can see those here. And then anytime you see one of these blue problem parts, you can click that and actually see what the problem was, the correct answers, and the score breakdown for that problem. So you can see that directly by just clicking these problems here underneath the graph. And then the next part here, this will be the most familiar part of the report. This is what we call now the detailed report. And so this is going to give you the breakdown for each problem by student. And so you still have the column headers, which are each individual problem that were assigned. Then you've got your problem averages, so the average score across the assignment and the average score on each problem. So you can identify maybe what problems you want to go over with the whole class. You still got those common wrong answers. So if 3 or more students put the same wrong answer on their first try, we'll show you what those wrong answers were and the percentage of incorrect students who put them. And then you get into the rows of individual student data. Notice that the names are hidden here. To hide the names, you can just go to hide columns here, and you now have the ability to hide names, average scores, total time, hints, so you can hide a lot more than you used to be able to. And I can unhide this as well just to show you what that looks like, right? And then you'll see that instead of the symbols that we used to use, you see these colors, the same colors for correct, green, correct eventually, which is this yellow-orange color, and incorrect, meaning the sort of pink, red, whatever. I'm not great with very, very specific colors, and that is definitely not just red, but we're gonna call it red today. And so you'll see these colors and smaller symbols instead of the symbols that you're used to. Okay, you can always click scoring here at the top to see a key of what these things mean. And other than the colors that I just explained, basically anytime a student uses a hint, it's a triangle next to the bubble. And anytime they provide an incorrect answer, so they made an incorrect attempt, it's an X. So here on this student, we can see they made 3 incorrect attempts. So did this student here. This student here made 1 incorrect attempt. So you can see those things. You also have the ability to click any one of these to see the individual student's details for that one problem. So you can see each attempt they made, correct answer, all that stuff. And so then, oh, and just a reminder, again, whenever you see these problems in blue, you can always click these to see what the problem was, see that correct answer, and see that score breakdown for the whole class. So then for the individual student row, you'll still see that average for the individual student. And you might be wondering, how do I see the student details? Well, let me just click show columns here. And all you have to do to see the student's details is click their name. So you click their name and you can access that details report as normal. You can still shuffle through students or select them from the drop down. You can still show the problems that they were responding to if you want to reference those. So you can do all of that just by clicking their name. And then let's say for this student, they got a low score. So maybe you did a reteaching session with them and you want to delete their progress and have them start again. You can still click that triple dot next to their name and delete progress. And that will allow the student to click the same link in Google or Canvas and start from the beginning of the assignment. A couple other things to point out here. You do have the ability to download this detailed report as a CSV file or upload the scores, the average scores of students to Google Classroom or Canvas. Right now, it just says Google Classroom because that's what I'm logged into. But if you're Canvas, you'll see upload to Canvas here, and that will allow you to upload the scores directly into Google Classroom or Canvas. I do want to note, and I'll probably end up repeating myself here, but if you upload scores to Google Classroom, they go in unpublished. So you do then have to return the grades in order for that to be published and for the kids to see their scores, right? In Canvas, when you upload scores, those will automatically appear in the gradebook. So just to recap, you got those student progress cards that show you where the students are in the assignment process. You've got the performance summary, which shows you how many students fit into each category, correct, eventually, or incorrect on each problem. And you've got that detailed report, which is the more familiar breakdown of how each student did on each problem. You've still got that whole class average score, the average scores on each individual problem, your common wrong answers. You've still got the student averages, student average on the assignment. And then you can still see the number of attempts, did they use hints, etc., based on what's next to the bubbles. So I wanted to give folks just a chance to, in the last few minutes we have here, just to log in and explore a little bit. And if you're not sure, or you want a refresher on how to do something specific, you can post those questions in the chat. And we'll take about 3 to 4 minutes just to let folks kind of look around in assessments and ask questions. And with that, do we have any questions coming in, Sue?
No, we're good. Thank you.
All right,
Yep.
I will take that to mean that I'm being super clear and I'm going through at a very nice, even pace that everybody's comfortable with. But yeah, so feel free to, I'll give you all about 3 minutes to check this out. And then we'll go through our last few components here.
Brian, will you be sharing this slide with us?
Yeah, you'll get a PDF copy of the slide deck after the session in a follow-up
Okay.
email.
And a question is, I made the sign, colleagues and I made the sign just so our students can understand the symbols, but now that they have changed, do you have a similar chart like this? And you
So
maybe
right-
hit the slide and I missed it.
No, so that part is still the same right now.
Okay.
So in the student experience, they still see those symbols. So
Okay,
that sign is not outdated yet.
Okay.
This is only talking about what the teachers see in their data report.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yep, no problem. And when that does, if and when it does change for students, we'll put out updated resources that reflect the change so that you
Okay.
have access to that.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, we'll give another couple of minutes here just to see if folks have any other questions as they explore.
Brian, there's a New York question here. Assessments Ed 2D, is Assessments Ed 2D complement? I don't.
Compliant. I'm not exactly
compliant?
sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's me. Ed 2. Yeah, I spelled that wrong. Sorry. That's me. Yeah, so I just, in New York, any program where you have student data has to be Ed 2D compliant in order to use it.
So
I have talked
anything.
to districts that if they reach out for a contract, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so anything that has to do with data privacy, you want to reach out to our email address, contact@assessments.org, and I'll post that in the chat. And we can have our staff take care of any privacy agreements that are required for teachers.
It's there. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, there you go. All right, excellent. So yeah, contact@assessments is who you want to reach out to for any data privacy requests, which it sounds like that's what that would be. All righty, so moving right along. Before we close out today, I just wanted to highlight that all of our user resources have been updated with the fresh new look. So if you go to assessments.org and you click the Help Center here at the top and user resources, you can find all sorts of user resources on things from how to get started, how to interpret and understand reports and data, support for students and parents. So lots of useful things in there. All of it is updated for the fresh new look. So definitely feel free to take advantage of those. And then we also offer a host of customizable PD services for teachers. So we offer up to from 1 to 3 hours of new user training to get teachers ready, up to 10 hours a month of flexible one-on-one support. We find that 97% of teachers are confident in using assessments to support their instructional goals after attending our PD. 97% of teachers plan to use the information and resources we share in our PD. And finally, 99% are satisfied or very satisfied with the quality of information and resources that we provide. So definitely a high quality experience. If your school or district is interested, definitely let us know. And I believe we'll ask about that in our feedback survey here in just a minute. And so just before we close out, we would really appreciate it if y'all take just 30 to 60 seconds to give us some feedback on today's session and let us know if you're interested in those PD services. We use any feedback that folks give us and take that to heart and try to use that to improve our sessions continuously. So the feedback is extremely important. And if you would, sorry, one second. Sue, if you would just share that in the chat. Actually, I can go ahead and share it right here.
I think I did it. Is it that Airtable?
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Either one of those links will work. And you can use that just to take 30 seconds to fill out our survey. We would greatly appreciate it. And today's date is the 2nd, and this is the overview of the fresh new look. All right, we're going to close out in just a second here. Give folks a few more seconds to respond to our feedback survey. All right, so as folks are wrapping up, I just want to say again, thank you for joining us today and learning about all the awesome new features and views that we have in the fresh new look. If you do have any follow-up questions or you want to refresh your memory about anything that we covered today or really anything else, we're happy to answer those questions if you reach out to contact@assessments.org, and we'll make sure that you have what you need so that you can use assessments to enhance what's going on in your classroom and with your students. And with that, I'll leave it open for any final questions that folks have. And once you're finished with the survey, you're free to go. So again, we thank you for joining us today. Sue, any other questions come in?
No, we are good.
All righty, excellent. I'll give about 30 more seconds just to see if anything else trickles in. And just as a side note, we're going to be putting out all sorts of interesting new features and things like that over the coming months. So, be on the lookout. We'll be talking about those features and providing resources for them. But Assessments is only going to get better and better. So definitely keep on the lookout for all the awesome changes that we're going to be making. And with that, I'll go ahead and close us out. Again, thanks for joining us today. Reach out to contact@assessments if you have questions, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.